Greetings, whiskey folk, and welcome to the official Dram Association unbottling of Duncan Taylor's Girvan single cask grain whiskey, aged for 6 years. Yeah. So, this one might be a little familiar to you if you're a long-time viewer of the Dram Association YouTube channel, because we featured this one actually at I think we called it the Indie Spotlight for the Duncan Taylor. It was a tasting we did where we actually had a whole suite of Duncan Taylor single grain whiskies. And I've managed to bring some of this one back in, which I'm quite excited about because I thought this was really cool. This was something that goes to show that, yes, grain whiskey, which a lot of people have discovered is absolutely fantastic when it's been treated correctly, and usually that means several years, can actually be pretty damn good young as well, especially at a decent price point. This is really cool. It was distilled in April 2011, bottled in 2017. So it's actually been in bottle now for, blimey, quite a long time. 4 years. Don't know why it's taken that long to get over here, but it was, bottled at 53.1% ABV. And again, from the Girvan single grain distillery. So a little about Duncan Taylor, because this is going to be in our indie versus indie tasting. So it's all about showcasing 8 different independent bottlers and getting them to go head to head. Duncan Taylor was established in 1938. It's renowned for the quality and breadth of its single grain Scotch whiskies, such as this. Casks of outstanding quality from Scotland's prime whisky producing grain distilleries are hand selected by Duncan Taylor Scotch Whisky Limited prior to bottling. The whiskies are matured at their original distilleries to allow them to age in the environment in which they were distilled. So that's a cool thing. A lot of grain whiskey especially is shipped off to giant warehouses somewhere, God knows where. All of this series were actually matured at the distillery, which is neat. Casks are only bottled when they reach optimum age and quality. So they didn't just randomly get a bunch of 6-year-old and know that they had to release it. They specifically chose to release this at 6 years old. Curious, right? Every whiskey bottled by Duncan Taylor Scotch Whisky Limited is in its natural form with no chill filtration or any addition of colouring. Duncan Taylor Scotch Whisky Limited's unrivaled quality continues to be integral to the high reputation enjoyed by the company's award-winning brands. Yeah. So, time to revisit this thing. It's been a while. Let's see what I think today. If I can get it open. All right. Trick is to get the little paper tab out of the way first so you can actually get your nail into the foil. Pro tip, guys. Alrighty. Lovely. Got a glass over here. Beautiful. So, this is not the kind of single grain whiskey. It's not, like some of the other ones we had were 28-year-old sherry cask Invergordons and stuff, right? This is much more akin, I would say that this is much more like a really, really damn good bourbon or Canadian whiskey even, And if you think of it in those kind of ways, like you can get really good bourbon at only 6 years old, especially at cask strength, right? And I should mention this. So regular price $74.70 is actually down to $67.23 right now as it's being featured, and we've not got too much of this left. This is a great introduction to Scotch for people who are used to bourbon. I could definitely see enjoying this with a couple of cubes of ice in it, or making an old-fashioned out of it even. Okay, so what am I getting today? Butterscotch, baking spices, custard powder, a little bit of lemon juice, lavender as well. It has that telltale herbal aspect that you often get with these grain whiskies. A little fennel actually today. That's really quite cool. Yeah, a nice little wisp of fresh fennel. And there's a nice sort of bitter coffee chocolate thing right at the back as well. Yeah, it's a really, really cool whiskey. And it really does go to show that you can have decent grain whiskey younger. I'm really interested to see what happens when this goes head to head with something in a blind tasting. I want to see how many people are shocked. I don't think this is going to get knocked out in the first round. I don't know what the seeding is yet. I don't know who this whiskey's first opponent's going to be, but there's a good chance it might be a bit of a dark horse in this lineup. It really is. Yeah. I think it's good, especially knowing the price. And, the tournament, the people judging the tournament aren't going to know the price, so that's not going to come into play at all for them. But, yeah, be interesting to see what a completely unbiased audience is going to score this and judge this. Yeah, I like it. Snack Girvan.